Hey, what's up, YouTube? Um, just gonna make a video, maybe a quick video. I don't know how long, but I'm gonna try not to make it too long. But when you look at this series, and I'm gonna be honest, I have I stopped watching Game Two when it was looking a certain way. But I'm just gonna get to you know the topic of this video, the title of this video, whatever I've titled it. But it's gonna involve Jokic and the Nuggets. It's an indictment. The fact that a lot of us want this young, inexperienced Spurs team to beat the champions. Like we're counting on this Spurs team to beat the champions, and it should be Jokic in this situation. He should be in the conference finals right now, and this is someone. Jokic was my favorite player for the past couple of years, and I still do like Jokic, but it's not about like or dislike. It's about being real. It's about being honest. And he had a good enough team. There's no way that they should have lost to the Timberwolves in the first round, especially down the stretch of that series with Edwards being out and they had a key role player go out. Like there's no way that they should have lost that series. And he's at home with his horses. Like he should be in the conference finals right now. Jokic should have, beat the Spurs because they could have exploited the Spurs' lack of experience. And because obviously the Nuggets, they have championship experience and they also have talent. I think that would have been enough. That's normally enough to beat a team like the Spurs, a young, inexperienced team like them. I think, had the Nuggets, and Jokic, number one, had been up to live up to his expectations, they should be in the conference finals. It's an indictment that we're rooting for this young, inexperienced team to beat the Thunder. And to be honest, I don't see it. I know people, and also I found out that, Harper is injured. It's always some bullshit. I'm just gonna cuss. I mean, it's always some bull crap. A lot of these injuries, they ruin the playoffs, and I don't know what's going on. There's always something. But but either way, I think that the Thunder are going to win this. And I've been watching NBA for a long time, man. I started watching NBA back in '08. When I was 9, 10 years old. And I'm not gonna go deep into that, but the point of me mentioning that is that I seen dynasties and potential dynasties, and obviously in hindsight, I saw Miami. I saw teams come close to beating them. You know, and obviously they lost twice in the finals, but still, I'm talking about in the East. I remember I had to pause it real quick, but what I was saying is I remember in the East when Boston had them down 3-2. We all thinking Boston gonna close them out. LeBron had an incredible game. In 2013, against San Antonio. Game Six. Even Game Seven. Like, and then when Golden State with their dynasty. When it was developing in 2016 before they had KD. I thought Oklahoma was going to beat them. They had them down 3-1. Thunder choked that away. The Warriors, they came back and won that. Klay Thompson went off in Game Six. And then you have your role players like Iguodala, and Mike Miller with Miami and Mario Chalmers and all those guys. Obviously, you have the main guys, but it's a team game. I grew up watching these teams. I know I experienced this stuff. I could be wrong, but I just see the Thunder winning this, and I don't like that team. And I mentioned those teams because I didn't like those teams at the time, and especially when the Warriors got Golden State, I was starting to dislike Golden State even before they got KD, but it really elevated when he joined, and I hated that Miami team. I know hate is a strong word, but I hated that Miami team at the time, and I was rooting against them. So a lot of teams that I dislike, you know, it always plan out for them. That's what I've noticed. And also, and obviously Miami, I wouldn't consider them a dynasty, but they were a dominant Eastern Conference team. They made it four straight times to the finals. They won two. You have to win at least three to be a dynasty. Really, you really want to be real, you have to win three in a row to be like a real dynasty. I think that term dynasty get thrown around a little too much. And for example, I wouldn't consider the Duncan, Parker, and Ginobili Spurs a dynasty. They never won even back to back. I know they won 3 out of 5, but they never, because a dynasty is like domination. I would consider the Warriors a dynasty because they won 3 out of 4. They won back to back and they won 3 out of 4. They won 3 in 4 year span and they won back to back, obviously. So I would consider that a dynasty. That would qualify as a dynasty. But that term get passed around like it's just easy, just like a lot of things nowadays. I'm not gonna get into that, but I'm just ranting, or whatever, just expressing my opinion on it. I just want to just vent about stuff about it. It's an indictment, on Jokic, you know, and the fact that we got to count on this young, burgeoning superstar and Victor. When we're counting on him, a guy who haven't been here, who don't know what it's like, even though he act like he know what it's like with the way he played, but he doesn't know and his team don't know. And we're counting on them. That's an indictment on Jokic. He should be in a situation. He should be trying to take down this Thunder team. He should be the one to knock off these guys. He should be the one. It's an indictment on him. And it's not no Jokic hater or whatever. I'm not no Jokic hater. I'm just being honest about it. People make too many excuses for him. Like his fanboys, they make too many excuses for him. And it's annoying. You can only make so many excuses when stuff continue to happen. And this team has been declining since they won that title. And he played terrible. And I'm not saying it's the end of the world for Jokic. He could still bounce back. But this was bad. This is an indictment against him. And if Shea's able to win back to back, by default, maybe he's the best player. I have to give him that because since the past 3 years, he's building his case. 2 MVPs, back to back championships, assuming back to back Finals MVPs. Like, he's going to be that. He's going to be the best player in the league. With that resume. That's enough to for what Jokic, 1 title, 3 MVPs. But what have you done lately? What have you done lately? And Shea has, he's been getting it done. Foul merchant, whatever you want to call him, he's been getting it done. So I gotta give him that. They're not the most exciting team. A lot of people, are, I don't know, a decent amount of people, allow decent amount of people are rooting against this team. They're not an exciting team. People have their reasons why they don't like this team, but because the way they play the game, it's not exciting. It's not exciting. It's not an exciting team. But at the end of the day, they're getting it done. It would be nice to see the Spurs win this series. I don't see it though. I just don't see it. It would be nice, but I just don't see it. But again, it's an indictment on Jokic that we have to count on this young, inexperienced team to beat this championship team. Like it's an indictment on him. Okay, peace out. I just want to make a video. All right, peace.